Welcome back to 20-somethings. Oh my God, you came back. Hey, how are you? How was your week? How was your day? How was your weekend? I don't know what you're doing in your life, but tell me, girl or boy, how are you? They. Talk to me. Welcome back to 20-somethings, a cathartic listening experience for anybody who is simply trying to figure out this beautifully messy thing we call life and living. I go by Jane, and we are figuring it out together. Let's get started on this week's episode of Attraction to Self. There's a fucking cat hair in my eye. Okay. Oh, I'm itchy. Attraction to self. What are we talking about? What does that mean? Let's get into it. So, it's one thing to feel like you're attractive to other people, right? But imagine with me for a second that nobody else in the world existed. Would you still be attracted to yourself? Does attraction only come up in your head because other people are involved? And be real. I think it's okay to feel good, to feel attractive. I think that's great. I think for the sense of longevity and actual substantial sense of self-esteem, we have to then question how much of our external forces give us internal reassurance, right? Have you ever even asked yourself if you were attracted to yourself? Probably not, because I don't think that's a very normal human thing to do. I'm not going to sit here and act like that's normal. Most of us just go to work and pay bills and try to make it. But that's why I'm here, to gunk it up and have you opening your brain and your mind. Because it's very easy to go about life monotonously. It's very easy to go about life on autopilot. And I'm here to help you try to get out of that and get you to your bestest self. While I'm also figuring it out, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Anyway, we're talking about attempting to become more attractive to yourself. Let's break it down. We woo. All I hear is sirens all day long. It's all good. And I hope they're doing good work out there. I can't get a word in. Does this mic even pick up that sound? So the 3 main points for today: defining attractiveness to self. What the fuck are you talking about? How does this translate to daily life? How can we clock it in our everyday lives? And I guess a little bit about myself and how I'm currently challenging myself to stop viewing my life through other people's eyes, which is, I know, again, very contradictory. Being an actress seems like you're being perceived through your work. And then there's a level of visibility that I think people might think is required of somebody who is of social standing like that. I'm not even on that level yet. Anyway, okay, let's define the thing. When I say, are you attracted to yourself? Immediately, what do you think of? Probably do I think I'm cute? Do I think I'm pretty? Yes, that. But that's not the main focus for today. You're gorgeous, babes. You don't need me to tell you that. But are you attracted to what's on the inside? That is the only thing that I really want to talk about today. Does the inside match the outside? Are you proud of what's going on? A couple of points that might provoke you figuring that answer out for yourself. Do you enjoy the 20-something you're becoming? You've come a long way and you made it all the way here. Do you like who you are now that you are here? Can you continue to sustain yourself with who you are now? Or do maybe some things have to change? I don't know. Are you proud of who you are and what you've overcome? Do you keep promises to yourself? Do you abandon your needs for other people? We woo. Okay. Do you abandon your needs for the sake of other people? Do you speak kindly to yourself? I'll never okay, that's not true. I was going to say I'll never understand how people don't speak kindly about themselves, but Like, I used to do the same thing, and like not even long ago. Like, I'm pretty sure this was 2 days ago. I'm kidding, but I'm very, very serious when I say like it's really important to pay attention to that. And that when you really think about it, you being unkind to yourself is one of the dumbest things you could ever do, because like, how are you not even gonna be nice to yourself? How are you gonna do you dirty? Like, it really be your own self. Do you let yourself rest, grow, and improve? These are different questions that you can ask yourself to kind of tap in to be like, am I somebody that I would be proud of? Am I living the life that I want? Or are we about to switch shit up because this ain't it? You know? So I believe that it's easier to work on new habits and goals when you are aware of your own patterns. If you're aware of things that come up during certain moments. Can you speak directly to the feeling you get in your gut whenever somebody gives you critique? Do you feel like at an all-time high when somebody gives you a compliment, even if you don't know the person and if it was for something maybe superficial, right? Like, these are quicksand moments because it kind of slows things down for you. It has some type of weighing effect on you. A couple questions that you can ask and use for reflection. Would I admire my discipline? Would I admire my kindness towards other people? How do I carry myself, and am I okay with that? Do I even think about that? Would I admire my courage to try again when things get difficult? And would I admire my standards? In one way or another, some of these things you do on a daily basis. Hopefully you are kind on a daily basis. And if you're not, then that question of do I admire my kindness gives you some information. I don't think you're required to be kind. I don't think everybody deserves that. I think you give what you get and you don't get upset. But I think there's information there if you're like, I can be a little bit of a mean person sometimes, especially in these moments. And now you have more information about what those moments are, and now you can identify when they come up and how to avoid them and how to handle them going forward. All these great things. And sometimes it takes other people to tell us about ourselves to really dig up these important thoughts, but that's what the beauty in life is. Like, you cannot do it alone. I don't care how self-sufficient, I do not care how self-aware you are. And I'm speaking personally, like I thought I was the most self-aware person on the planet. I avoided therapy for a while because I was like, I can clock exactly what this is. Like, I have training in counseling and psychology and all these things. So I'm like, I do not need a fucking therapist. Like, we're gonna go there, and I'm gonna tell them what they're gonna tell me. Like, this is not gonna be conducive. Lo and behold, I had so much to learn. I had so much to learn. You are just spit grits. That was very genuine. Anyway, sometimes it takes other people, and that's okay. Please be open to that. Great things happen when you're open. Find people you trust. Because you can, oh my God. Please do not spill the beans to everybody who will listen. Baby girl, I'm telling you right now, that is a problem. If you have an opportunity to tell every single person what is wrong with you, something inside of you, I think, is off. Yeah. This is not me diagnosing or judging. I just think not everybody needs to know. Like, the dude giving you your Amazon package he probably doesn't even care. That ex who, like, you don't talk to and haven't spoken to for 3 years, he doesn't need to know. He doesn't need to know. Anyway, find good people. People who are going to help you make sense of things and point you in the direction most beneficial for you, even if you don't want to hear it. But be mindful that these people should also be coached on how you would like to receive it, right? It's communication. Everything's a two-way street. A balanced give and take is what you want. It's something that feels safe. Like, don't go to somebody who you know is just going to judge you and call you like stupid or retarded for something. Like, that's just not going to help you, right? Find your person. And finally, I'll talk about like me challenging myself to stop viewing myself through other people's eyes currently. What has really helped me is that I like the thought of what is really meant for you will find you. And when you are embracing attraction to self and having these questions and really getting to the root of who you are, it will come easier and more naturally. And it'll be easier to weed out the things that are not doing you any good at all. I also have to remind myself that I don't have to be so caught up in what I think other people see me as. Personally, it's tough, or sometimes it's tough truly accepting myself because I have a history of just not feeling good enough, and that could come from a plethora of things. These are things that I've already spoken about, talked about, walked through. But it can be hard. But then it's like, I have to remind myself of where I'm at right now. Like, be where your feet are, And then also look back at how far you've come. Like, girl, girl, you have nothing to lose being confident and proud. And if you don't like something, then just, I don't know, change it. It's okay. Change it. And it wasn't until I got older that I started to question what good enough even meant. Like, I don't feel good enough. What do you mean by good enough? That within itself is a whole moment of exploration. And at different points in my life, my perception of myself definitely changed. And at times, it was easy for me to identify who I am, what I like, what I don't like. And then time would go on. Relationships would change, circumstances would change. And then it wasn't easy anymore. And all these identities that kept me held up were no longer things that served who I was meant to evolve into. Sometimes our old habits that kept us alive during certain moments are now the one thing killing off the best potential that we have within ourselves. You just gotta clock it. You just gotta be like, oh, babes, thank you for what you did. I love and I appreciate you, but you gotta go. And I have to unlearn this because I don't need it anymore. Right? Right. So I'm still working on being grounded in myself. I try not to get too caught up on if I post this, is it going to do well? I'm going to post it anyway. What is meant for me will come anyway. I want to post this to build community, to build up my numbers on my page, to show that I'm actual human, to show my progress. I cannot worry about 10,000 things and 10,000 different views of myself from this. I can't worry about if something is going to come off wrong or not, because then I would always be tweaking what I'm saying. And at some point, I think you just get lost and you're not even saying what you want anymore. You can make your point and be clear and give it the necessary disclosures. I don't mean to say this. I'm sorry if you feel like this, but here's how I feel. And whatever. Don't make it so complicated. So a little bit of a story time is that, and I think this is a great example, and I'm pretty sure you probably have done it too, because bitch, don't lie. I know you do this. I know you do this. So when I add somebody on Instagram, I do this thing where I go on the Instagram and I look at my profile from their lens. And I think about how are they viewing my page? I don't know why that happens. I don't. I have not debunked that in my own head. I think about what they might like, what they might find funny, what might be a point of friction for them. I don't know if you're gonna like this part. Ooh, I don't know, buddy. These are different things that I think about. It's safe for me to say that most of my life I've been worried about my perception and how I presented myself. And it really oozed into everything that I did. It bled into how I carry myself on the street, what kind of jobs I do, the kind of things or people that I gravitated towards, all those things. With one underlying theme, which really was an unhealthy relationship with perspective. Growing up, I didn't allow myself to exist in more than one box. And that was the complicated part. And why did these things exist inside of me? Why was I always so concerned about how I came off to people? That is a very widely open-ended question. And I'm sure some of it came from being Black in this world, growing up. Already you have things that influence your self-esteem and how you think people view you. I also think it could be due to the rise of social media and that platform, like coming up where once upon a time, like nobody really knew what anybody else was doing, to now you know it and you see it and there's an opportunity to be judged at all times. That plays a part. It could be a number of things. And I even joined like social media pretty late. Like it wasn't until later that I even had an Instagram or a Facebook, but even still, like you're met with those thoughts. It's just a certain like musk to the air when it comes to these kind of things. Like, and I don't mean musk in like a negative way, but in a there's a very obvious feeling of self-consciousness or something here with lingering effects, but it's not very specific to one instance or one situation. Maybe it's a relationship that I've seen or lack of relationships that I've seen in my life. Who fucking knows? The list goes on, and truly I'm not here to get into that. But the point is, so much of who I used to be came from yearning to be perceived in a positive way. I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I'm a person. Like, we cannot be held to these standards. That doesn't mean I'm like kablowing people at nighttime. Like, I'm not out in the streets wreaking havoc on the community. I have my up and down days, whatever. And honestly, it's kind of ironic. These things, like you go into acting, that's like super translucent or seemingly translucent. But there's a lot of different things at play here, which makes it a little bit complicado, avocado, but that's okay. You know, when it comes to camera and acting, I think the joy that I get from it cancels out anything that I might be worried about as far as perception goes, because I really just want to use the camera and entertainment as my medium to encourage community and compassion. And I don't think it hurt to do and use your talents for good. You're not mad at Batman for beating up bad guys. Whatever, it's the same thing. That was a bit of a ramble, but I leave you with this. I am not your mama, so I'm not telling you what to do. Just wanted to get those gears turning a little bit. And these questions are good for anybody at any point in their life. At work, in your relationships. Hell, even at the motherfucking halal cart. Like, it is okay to take on this new mantra of, I am not worried about what anybody else thinks. Especially if they're not in my call log or paying my bills. Talk to me. What's your mantra? Like, have you gone through this journey and you're like on the other side? Like, oh yeah, girl, that was tough, but here's what I learned. Talk to me. I'll talk back. I want to know, genuinely. I always want to leave you better than I found you. And if I did that this week, yay. I'm happy about that. And if I didn't, I'm sorry. My bad, boss. My bad. Anyway, I am your host, Jane Lomain, and this is 20-somethings. I will see you next week. Next week, we are talking about... What are we talking about next week? Feeling behind in life. Yeah. That should be fun. Okay, bye.